This is an assumption question. This last sentence here is the conclusion of the argument. Missing link is between all the information given in the paragraph, including the said experiment here, and the conclusion that most people apply weaker moral standards to themselves than what they do to others. So what is an assumption made here? That at least some subjects were given 30% of the price and they felt it was unfair can at best faintly strengthen the argument, but it is not something that must be true for the argument to hold, and therefore this does not qualify as a valid assumption statement. Technically, it is possible that few subjects received 30% of the price and they did not consider it unfair. And still, the argument holds because a different group found that choosing to keep 70% of the prize money was unfair. Answer choice B delves into what would have been the most ethical option. This does not address to the point of applying weaker moral standards to oneself than what is applied to others. This is not going to be a valid assumption because this is not relevant to the conclusion made. Besides, please be always very careful when you see such emotional answer choices on GMAT critical reasoning. Such answer choices are only rarely correct. Accuracy of the moral judgments of the subjects in the other group has no bearing on the conclusion. Imagine even if you make this less accurate here, nothing changes here. This conclusion would still remain, so answer choice D should be eliminated. See, the argument here mentions that the majority of subjects chose to receive 70% and claimed that they had acted fairly. So whether at least some of these subjects felt that they had made the only fair choice they could is something that has already been included in this argument here. This answer choice brings no additional information. This has no impact on the conclusion here and therefore cannot be a valid assumption. Let's confirm answer choice C now. Yes, establishing that at least some subjects who claimed that they had acted fairly in choosing to receive 70% of the prize would have said that it was unfair if someone else did it would mean that most people apply weaker moral standards to themselves than they do to others. Please understand, the argument is not about acting fairly. It may be alright to act unfair but not feel bad when the other party also acts unfair. When you don't feel bad about something unfair and you don't feel bad about somebody else acting unfair, you are applying the same moral standards, however low they may be. So establishing this is essential, that one may act in one's own interest and feels bad when somebody else acts in one's self-interest. That would be the idea of applying a weaker moral standard to themselves and applying a higher moral standard to others. So for this entire argument to make sense, what choice C says must be true. At least some such subjects who claim that they acted fairly must feel others doing the same action unfair. A very interesting question, a lot to be learned from this one. C is the correct answer choice.